Hello, how are you guys doing? So, today, as you can see, we will be discussing the Da Vinci Method. And the reason I chose Da Vinci is because I believe that Da Vinci is somebody who is a multi-capable person, right? He is somebody who would do a lot of things and master a lot of things, right? Um, he's somebody he excelled in his field of intelligence in whatever field that he chose to embark on, right? He would put his full energy into it and his full spirit. So I feel like this is one of the best people to gather experience from. But like always, let's not waste any time. So as I said before, this is the Da Vinci Method, right? How to unlock your full potential with it. So in this overview, this whole thing, we'll be going over curiosity, right? To ask better questions, observation, see what others ignore, cross pollination. That's where you connect ideas from other fields, having the notebook mindset, capture and organize everything, experimentation, test, learn, iterate, and creation. Build until potential becomes reality. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Step one, have radical curiosity. Train yourself to ask better questions, okay? Right here. Train yourself to ask better questions. Whenever you're doing something, you want to ask why? Why am I doing this, right? What is the core of this? What is the root of this, right? Where did it come from? Because understanding where something comes from can help you improve it later on, right? Right here, ask why it matters. Curiosity creates energy. You stop asking, what do I have to do? And start asking, what can I understand so deeply that it changes how I see everything, right? A lot of people only have a base level understanding of most things. However, with the Da Vinci mindset, you'll have a deeper understanding of how most things work, right? You just have to train your mind to see things that way. You now become a student of life and not a victim of it, right? Right here. Ask, why does this work? How could this be better? What am I missing? What pattern is hiding here? What are the real causes? And what would happen if I changed the one small thing? I want you guys to ignore right here, right here, right here, right here, right here, and pay attention to this. What would happen if I changed the one small thing? I'm a firm believer in changing the small things in your life have a snowball effect into changing the big things in your life, right? So before you can even get to any of this, right? Start changing the small things, right? Jordan Peterson said it best, wake up, make your bed. That's something I started to do. I've been doing it for a couple months now. Um, yeah, it's just changing the small things, right? You can't change the big stuff, right? Because how would you ever be able to change the big stuff if you can't even change the small stuff in your life, right? It's all a compounding effect, right? Here are some real world applications. Pick one thing you want to improve: your body, your money, your business, your focus, your content, your discipline. It could be anything, right? Then write 10 questions about it. Do not write any goals. Write questions, right? What is causing this problem? What are the hidden factors? Why do I not understand it yet? What would the top 1% do differently? Look at the top echelons of people who are doing the thing that you want to do and copy their exact steps, right? Follow their story. Ask questions. How did they become like this? What's the first principle? What would make this effortless? What patterns am I ignoring? What assumptions am I making? And how can I make this 10 times better? And if you guys would like to take a screenshot of this, I give all this out for free. Please do. I believe this will help you in your life and for right now and in the future, right? So that's step one. Radical curiosity. If you don't have a pen and paper, get one, write it down. Radical curiosity. Have a childlike wonder when it comes to things. Step two, deep observation. See what others ignore, right? Leonardo believed learning came from direct observation and experience. He spent hours studying the natural world, people, movement, light, water, and even the smallest details that nobody noticed, right? When was the last time you woke up and looked at the crinkles in your bed? When was the last time you looked at the wrinkles in your hand, right? You looked at the way something was shaped. Why is it shaped that way, right? How does this car work? What is the beginning stages of something to the end? And what makes it work in between that, right? How does your mind work? How does your body work? Start asking deeper questions, right? Become a deep observer. When you're talking to somebody, don't just listen to them, actually understand them, right? There's this term called understand. You have to understand them, right? Hear what they're saying and understand it, you know? Take something and understand the full deep meaning of it. Don't just let it go one ear and out the other. The core idea behind this is observe before you judge. Most people react based on assumptions. The Da Vinci Method teaches you become a careful observer of reality and yourself. And one thing you have to learn deeper about is yourself. Because if you don't know yourself, how will you ever figure anything else out, right? And you can do this in tandem, right? You could try to learn one thing and also learn yourself. You don't have to master all these steps. Start small, right? Incorporate little things into your life. Start asking questions, you know? And here are some life application steps that you can take to do this. For 1 week, observe yourself like you are your own experiment. Track the following. When is your energy the highest? If you're a night person, do your work at night, right? If you're a day person, do your work at day. If you're a midday person, do your work at during the midday, right? Figure out who you are. And that's what I was talking about, right? Understand yourself. Understand what makes you work, right? Because we're all different, and what makes me tick might not make you tick, right? Track when you get distracted. Track what triggers your bad habits, what makes you feel focused, and what people drain or sharpen you. You have to have the right people around you. Have the right circle, right? The wrong people around you could be a detriment to your life. And then you have the shift. The average person reacts to life, the Da Vinci mind studies life, right? When something bad happens to you, you automatically go into this panic mode, right? Oh, why did this happen to me? What was the reason this happened to me? Instead of asking, like, why did this happen? Why am I always having bad luck? Start studying, okay, where did this bad problem arise from? Where did it start? How did it happen? What steps did it take to get to this point? And how can I avoid it in the future? Once you start asking those questions, once you start getting ahead of the difficult situations in life, then everything else will become way better, I promise. And how to observe deeply. Slow down, pay attention to details, stay present, notice patterns over time, and write it all down without judgment. No matter what happens to you, have no feelings towards it, right? Be immersed in it, but just realize that this is a situation and this is a task, this is a problem. How can I conquer this problem, right? Understand it at a deeper level than what it's showing you face value. Next slide. Cross pollination. This is a big one that Da Vinci did. And this is why what he did I always had like a natural inclination to Da Vinci because he was somebody who could take one thing and mix it with the other, right? It's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll give you a short synopsis on it. Short brief. So some examples of cross-pollination are, if you're an artist, study engineering, right? That design works beautifully and functions perfectly. Think about it. Art and engineering are two in one. They work in tandem, right? The engineer puts things together, puts pieces together. The artist puts paintings together, puts colors together, right? When you work it in tandem, something beautiful can arise from it, right? Stop being so one-minded. When you do something, right? It's okay to have laser focus on one thing, right? You should do that. But once you've mastered that one thing, take another thing, master that, and put those two things together and see what happens, right? You have psychology and marketing, right? Create messages that influence and create great impact. Biology and technology, innovations that solve real human problems. Philosophy and business, storytelling and data. These are all things that mix together, right? Have a cross pollination mindset, have a Da Vinci mindset, right? This is one of the core messages in this because he was somebody who was he was just multi capable in what he could do, right? Here's some life applications. Choose 3 to 5 fields that support your main goal, right? You have your main goal and you have little sub goals, right? Study them consistently. Look for patterns, principles, and ideas that you can steal. Connect the dots that others don't see. Build your unique mental toolbox. Build what works for you and use combinations to create new systems, products, content, or solutions. All right. Again, take one thing that's powerful, take another thing that's powerful, mix it together, and it will become exponentially powerful. Step 4, the notebook mind. All right. Capture everything. I can't tell you the amount of times I've had a great idea and I'm like, okay, I'll remember this. And then a day later, I completely forget until I see it. I see somebody else do it, and I'm like, oh man, I should have done that, right? You can't live in the should haves. This right here, having the notebook mind, prevents having regret in your life, right? Any idea, any thought you have that you deem important, write it down. Write it down because once you write it down, it'll stay there. It'll stay there, right? And you come back to it later and you're like, okay, was this really a good idea? Or was I feeling passionate in the moment about a certain thing, right? If it stays on your mind, if you keep looking at it, you'll really understand if that thing that you really wanted is for you, right? Capture everything, right? Ask questions, create powerful questions that spark curiosity and exploration. Observations, record what you see, notice, and experience. And you have your ideas. Store raw ideas, thoughts, random flashes of inspiration. And once you have everything together in the notebook, in your notes, whatever you have, experiment, right? Try it out. If it's not for you, it's not for you. But you have a plethora of ideas and thoughts that you've written down, right? And I just went over it, but creations, document what you build, write, design, or produce. Take upon what you've been thinking of, write down ideas that could help in the accomplishment of that task, right? And you can capture in any form notes, sketches, voice memos, diagrams, random thoughts. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to capture it before it disappears, right? I heard somebody say this. I forgot who they said it or who said it, but they thought of ideas as something that floats around, right? It's this unseeable force that floats around and it sticks to people. I forgot who said it, but it'll stick to you. And if you don't bring that idea to life, right, that idea will unstick and go to somebody else. That idea that you have is looking for life, right? Think of it like that. The thought that you have is looking for somebody to bring it to life. And if you're not going to be that person, somebody else will. So please write down everything you do. Because once you do and you actually take action on that thought, you stay consistent with it, Most of the time, you will be successful. Most of the time. And some life applications, right? Start today, right now. Create your Da Vinci notebook. Use the 5 core sections, capture everything, review it weekly, connect the dots, build your ideas, and turn them into creation, right? Everything that you've been wanting to do has to come to life. It has to be created. Because if you do not, somebody else will. Step 5, experimentation. Turn your life into a laboratory, right? Leonardo didn't just imagine, he tested. He observed, hypothesized, experimented, failed, adjusted, and tested again. Failure is not, get that word out your mind. It's not failure. It's just learning. You're learning something. Okay, I failed, but I'm going to make it into a learning experience, right? How to run a powerful experiment. Choose something. Pick one thing you want to test. Define it. What's the goal? What's the outcome? What are you looking for? What do you want out of this? Design it. What will you do? For how long? And what are the rules, right? What are the rules in place for what you want to do? If I do this and I get this result, then I'll do this. If I do that and I get that result, then I'll do this. If this doesn't work, but I do this and it helps what didn't work, then I'll do that, right? Experiment. Have deeper thought. Run it. Follow the plan. Stay consistent. Do not cheat yourself. Measure everything. What worked? What didn't? Why didn't it work? How didn't it work? What are other people doing that makes it work, right? And evaluate. Did it improve you? Did it improve your life? Did it keep you stuck? Did it drain you, right? Was the monetary gain, was the spiritual gain worth it? Is what you're doing worth your time, right? Because time is of the essence. Anything that you do, you have to do it with intention, right? You have to do it with deep, deep intention. So please run this experiment, right? Again, choose, define, design, run, measure, evaluate. And at the evaluation stage, really figure out, okay, this was for me, this wasn't for me, it's okay, we'll press, right? And you can start off with anything. Here are some examples. You can start off with your mind, right? How to get your mind right, your body, your routine, your environment, skills and work and life direction. Any one of these can tie into this, right? You can run a powerful experiment with any one of these. You can do it with anything in your life, right? Anything. Lastly, step 6, create under obsession. When you do something, you have to be 100% obsessed with it, right? You can't, you cannot give half effort to anything because what you give to the universe, it will give back to you. And it won't even give it back to you 50-fold, 70, it'll give it back to you 100-fold, right? Create under obsession. Build until your potential becomes real. Ideas are invisible until they become output, right? Leonardo's legacy exists because he created, right? He created paintings, machines, studies, etc., etc. Anything that came in this guy's mind came to life because he gave it life. And once you give something life, right, you have to nurture it. You have to water the plant, take care of the child. Anything that you bring to life, nurture it. Anything that you nurture will naturally grow, right? It is almost impossible for you to nurture something and it doesn't grow, right? You have to nurture it in the right way. What makes it work? How does it work? Why does it work? Why is this one thing helping it grow and why is this one thing not helping it grow, right? Weekly creation challenge, right? Finish one thing every week. A video, a script, a design, lesson, product, podcast, system, post, right? You have to have one thing you at least finish, if not every day, every week. All right? Be consistent in what you finish. All right? Please be consistent. Consistency is key. I know a lot of people say it, but it's true. Consistency is 100% key. How creation transforms you, right? You have an idea, a spark appears, you take action. You take the imperfect action, but it's okay because that leads you into creation. Then you build something real. Then once you build it, you get feedback. You learn from the world, right? This didn't work because of this. Cool. Then you evolve. You become somebody new. And you start it all over again with any process, right? This all boils back down to the Da Vinci method and having the Da Vinci mindset, right? Be curious. Embark on any idea that you want to. Again, because if you nurture it, it will grow. I promise. It will grow. And lastly, this is the last thing I want to touch on, having the creator mindset. Start messy, refine later. Start small, but ship it often. I'm sorry, ship small, but ship it often. It's done. It's perfect, right? Having your pride. Pride doesn't matter. Have progress. Approval doesn't matter. Impact does. And build for the future you. All right. This is all for the future you. You want to imagine yourself. I heard this somewhere, right? Somebody said to close your eyes and imagine yourself 30 years from now. In 30 years from now, you're wishing, saying, man, I wish I tried 30 years ago, right? And with your eyes still closed, have that deep thought saying, I wish I tried 30 years ago, right? I wish I can get those 30 years back, and open your eyes and you're here. You're 30 years back where you want to be. Take upon the opportunity right now, because 9 times out of 10, you won't get this chance again, right? You won't be this young again. You won't be this age again. So please, please, I urge you, try the Da Vinci method. I promise it will work. I've applied it to my life and I've found great success in it. And I promise you will too. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to screenshot any of these slides I've had, take notes. It's all free for your use, right? With that being said, again, thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.